Hi everyone, I'm just going to be doing a quick walkthrough on creating a deck with the RedX Decks app. So if we launch the application here, you'll have the options to start with either the house or the deck. This deck is connected to a house. We're going to do so and draw that perimeter of the house. So you can enter specific measurements. Just going to do a 30-foot house there. Just go 30 by 45, that's good. And once you close the perimeter, the app will kind of generate the house like that. Once you have the house built, you can connect the deck to it. So if you go back to 2D, you go under deck tools, draw a deck level, it'll hide the roof there so we can see how it's going to connect to the house. Let's do 16 feet. Let's actually start from this side. So starting from the house here, grab our tool, let's go 16 feet, and let's do a 16 by 16. We'll close that perimeter, and then that'll generate the deck there. If you want to add stairs, we can just go here, click add stair, I'll add it to this corner here, and then for the railings, we can go to add all railings. That'll just generate all the railing options. That will generate all railings at all locations. If you want to add them manually, you can kind of remove them all and add it at specific locations. If you needed to move railings manually, you can select the railing, grab one of the corners, and you move that as you need. For railing design options, right now you have the infill style, so you can choose black metal balusters, square metal, glass, hog wire, and cable. And then within the wood railings, you have the option to connect through the rim joist, the post through the deck, or just connect it at the top of the deck. For the top of the rails, you have extend up, or you can put a pyramid cap. And then for the handrail style, you'll have to either have a single 2x6 flat or a variety of different options based on what you're looking to do. And then you'll have the same with the bottom rail style. You can do a flat or on edge. I'm gonna select for this one, let's just do round metal baluster. It looks good. You can choose the rail height, 42 inches or 36 inches, and the post size. And then there's also post spacing, so if you wanted to increase that to 8 feet, you'll notice how this railing here, it'll center the post automatically based off of that post spacing. The post offset from the deck edge is set to 1 inch currently, and that's just this offset here from the deck board edge. Once we have the deck built, you'll see the beams were automatically generated. You can select on any of these, open up the beam properties, and then you'll kind of see what the beam material species and material grade is, and the beam material size. You can move these beams if you wanted to just kind of play around with it. Here's the manage layers section. You can hide the railings and deck boards. And then if we select one of these beams, we'll see this actual distance here. So we can set that to 1 foot 6 inches, 1 foot 6, like that. And then this other beam here, let's bring it at 9 feet. So that will look like that, and you'll see we have blocking automatically generated and also for the deck boards. We have all this blocking for the contour boards. So if we show the deck boards again, we'll keep the railings hidden. If you go to 3D, you'll see how it adds this contour board at the house here. You can actually select it and delete it. So that's how that would look like. To adjust the rise of the deck, you can select the deck, and then once you'll see this rise measurement, and you can select on that. So if you needed let's say 5 feet, so that's gonna, once you edit that rise, it'll update all of the supporting beams and the stair rise accordingly. For same with the house, if you open up these foundation settings, we can say the above grade, so we can set that to 5 feet also, and that would have that's how you adjust that. Under the reports, you can see your material list. So these are the joist materials. You can open a detailed view. So we have 17 2x8 by 16 foot joist. We have the floor beams, the beam posts, the stringers, the joist blocking, and the deck boards. Composite. Concrete bags, that's going to be the volume for the post footers, and deck area and deck perimeter. And then you'll also have your cut list. So everything has been labeled there with quantities. So if actually you hide the deck boards and select the deck here, you'll see all of the joists are labeled there, and all the blocks. So back to reports, you'll also see the blueprints. So we have a complete deck PDF. Just give that a second to load. So that's gonna show all the different pages. So we have your blocking, your joist layout. If you don't want to see this cut list, you can open up the options and hide show cut list. In the PDF options, you can adjust the scale, the paper size. So if you move out your scale, and you can also select the color option. So if you want a black and white or in color mode. Just keep in mind, black and white updates a bit faster. It has less calculations to do. So I like to keep it in black and white. That's your beam layout. That's your post layout. And then we'll have the elevations. So we have your rise, and you have your footing detail, the depth and width. And then you can actually change the elevation. So if you want the back right or front. So depending on which elevation you want, it automatically builds out your elevations like that. Pretty cool. Okay, then you just have your download options there. Under the railings reports, you will see an overview of the types of railing we've done. You'll have your order list, how much 2x4s, post counts, and how many balusters. We have 142 3/4 inch diameter balusters by 26 inches high. There's also a blueprint section for the actual individual railings, so you can kind of look through all the railings and see how they were built out. If we show the railings again, you can also select on any of these railings and open up the PDF of that specific rail. That'll show you your post centers and just the overall details about that. If you needed to customize a certain rail, you can select on it. You can see how it has the button there. You can move it over your rail and adjust it accordingly. If we wanted to have some more advanced deck board options, you can open the deck board settings, and here you'll see we have 3 different categories. So we have your inner deck boards, so you can kind of change the color. you'll have the option from the species, so you can go from a composite or a cedar or pressure treated. So I'm just going to keep it as composite there, and then you'll have your perimeter boards. So you can that's just going to be a perimeter boards. You can adjust the color. For the layout, this is your deck board layout, so you can set it as a diagonal up or diagonal down. The number of perimeter boards, that's the around here. And then you can actually add some divider boards here. So let's put a divider board in the middle, hit the divider count, and you can set the boards per divider. So if you wanted 1 board or 2 board, that's how you would edit that. And we can keep a straight layout as needed. Then we have the deck board overhang. So you'll see how right now the deck boards are flush with the rim joist. If you set a deck board overhang of 1 inch, or let's say you needed 1.5 inches for the fascia board, you would do that, and then that's gonna offset your deck boards 1.5 inches. Notice how the railings also moved because of the post offset from edge is based off of the deck boards. So as you increase the deck board overhang, the posts were also moved. We can delete this back one again, just select it and delete. If you need to move your divider boards, you can select them, hit the move key. It's going to bring you to a top down view, and here we can slide them as you need it, or you can select this measurement and move it as needed. You'll notice if the joists are set to automatic placement, when you move these divider boards, the structure underneath automatically gets updated. So you'll see how that divider board we placed, and the app added the joist underneath with all the blocking as you would expect it to. We can show our deck boards again. We didn't look at the deck settings. So under the deck settings, this is where you can edit the joist material. So if you needed a material size of 2x10, you would go there. You can choose a species, and the only reason to choose a species is to see the joist max span update. So if each species has a different structural rating, so if you choose it's going to update this joist max span, which is used to calculate the optimal placements of the beams, and so on. Yeah, and same with the deck load. You can set a standard deck load of pounds per square feet. This is the joist spacing. You can standards at 1'4". You can set it as 1 feet or 2 feet, whatever is needed. And then the joist blocking. So you have the mid-span blocking, which is these mid-span blocks. Under the post options, there is the post size. So if you wanted a 4x4 post, just select that. That's gonna change. And then you can choose the post alignment. So if you had a 6x6 post, you see how it's centered. You can actually set the post alignment to flush to front or flush to back, and it's going to update accordingly with the beam. Then there is a post to beam connection option, so you can have a notched beam That's gonna look like that. Or you can choose a BC6 connector or any, and so on. And these should appear in your reports. You'll have an accurate count. For the footing type options, so that's the footings down low, we have a square, tube, or precast. If you switch to a precast, it's going to automatically go to a square. Yeah, when you switch to precast, it'll go to a 4x4 post automatically. For the beam options, you can select your material species and grade and material size, so that'll update all accordingly. And then for the layout is the deck board layout that we looked at earlier. Once we have the general, once you've got your overall build, you can go to the render. If you want to create a render of it, you can put it in the frame and then hit render. So open up some render settings if you wanted an evening look or the surrounding, the grass and gravel, some dining options. So this is going to be using AI to generate. You can add some trees in the background. When you hit generate, this will take about a minute or so. So when that's done generating, that's what that looks like. And if you wanted to make changes to that, you would just go down here and type in your changes. If you wanted some windows in there, let's say add windows, or let's say add a patio door to the house, and then just submit that, and just give it a minute or so to generate it. So you'll see when it comes back, it did a great job. It added that patio door exactly where you needed it. This is good if you wanted to show it to your customer before you're doing the build, or just getting some ideas on how it's going to look when it's all done. You can save it or view it enlarged there. Great. So we built a deck. We looked at the divider boards layout. We looked at the railings. Under the railings is also aluminum options, and then we added a Fibron city side with the different rail styles, and then you have the Fibron countryside also, the different colors and rail profiles. Also, there's ramps, joists. You can draw joists manually if you wanted to. If you hide these deck boards, you can remove all joists, and then draw joists manually. It's going to recommend the starting points based off of your joist spacing. You can just go ahead and select that as the first location. You can tap this joist. If you say you needed 1 foot for that first spacing, you can hit that, and then when you go to draw joist manually again, it's gonna recommend based off of your joist spacing. And you can add them all the way up to the end. That's how you would do that, and then you could add your blocking just like that. Under the environment, so you have the floors, walls. If you wanted to see the house with no siding, you can toggle that off. Foundation, if you want to see it or not. Environment, you can turn on shadows you wanted to make it a bit look more realistic, but that's going to add shadows around. And it can actually change the direction of the shadows, which is cool. So you want to change based on the time of day and the sun height. That's how that would look like. Yeah, there you go. If you wanted to add a roof above, just gonna disable the shadows again. Makes it a bit faster to build. So if you wanted to, actually, we'll just end it here. We'll do another video about roofs in another video.